be up there. Can you be up there? There's a seat right there.
Yeah, I told you. Told you, no one would have noticed.
Before we start this, I need to pee, so this is going to be a long hour for me.
I think.
I realize how theatrical it seems to be pouring my water while you're all watching me. Hi, my name's Wylde. We have a couple minutes, so people might trickle in, but we'll go ahead and get started since we're all here. First thing I'd like to do is have the panelists introduce themselves. And this panel is about doing YouTube part-time. So the implication there is that the rest of the time you're doing something else, a significant amount of the time, be it school or work. So I'd like the panelists to say their names, their channels, maybe what variety of content that is, vlogging, food, beauty, whatever it is. And also what that other significant chunk of time goes to. Is it a part-time job, a full-time job? In what field? Is it school? What are you studying? Kind of seek a foundation for the rest of the conversation that we are going to have. And there will be time for questions. So if you think of them, well, if you have an immediate question, I suppose, I don't know, we'll save it to the end. If you think of questions, save them to the end, jot them down, make a mental note, and we will come back to them. Do you want to go ahead and start?
Sure. I'm Brianne. I make YouTube videos. I've also got a clothing line on the side, and in the past I've been like full-time at uni and have a full-time job, so that was what I was doing with most of my time.
My name's Tanya Hennessy. I am a radio announcer full-time. So I work, oh God, I'm half dead, seriously. So it's really funny that I'm doing this, because can I just be really honest? Let's be real honest. So I work 5 days a week, Canberra breakfast. So I wake up at 4 a.m. every single day, and I finish work about 2, but that is not just that's not exclusive. It could be that I have to go do an event at night, or I have to do an OB, an outside broadcast in the afternoon. Like it's full on, they own me. And then on a Saturday morning I work at Today FM in Sydney, and I do 2 hours. And this is all with my co-announcer, Ryan John, who is also heaven, check him out. And then I do a YouTube channel and a Facebook page, I guess, and I'm a writer as well. And yeah, so I don't know, I'm like a comedian. I don't know what I am anymore. I feel like it's funny stuff, I guess. Yeah, I try to be funny. You know what, I think it's weird to call yourself funny. I think it's like, I'm hilarious, because you're never setting yourself up well. So yeah, that's what I do.
Hey guys, hope you're enjoying your day. My name is Armando Hasudungan. I have a channel called Armando Hasudungan. That's my middle name, if you're wondering. So I make science and medical videos on like related topics, like basics of anatomy and physiology to like complex biochemistry, immunology type things. So I'm a final year medical student. And I also do science communication work. I work part-time in that.
I have a rash and...
Where about?
You don't want to know.
So, sort of to begin the conversation surrounding your YouTube channels, what is it that got you started on YouTube, or what actually originally compelled you to start making video content?
I think boredom, mostly. I was in high school, I was just really bored, and I was seeing all these other people. Thank you. Cheers. Yeah, I was seeing all these other people make videos. I thought they were like hilarious, and I was like, okay, cool, I want to do that. And that's pretty much where that started.
Yeah, for me, I have an acting background, and when I say acting, I mean barista background. So I went to a performing arts high school, and then I went to university and studied theatre for 3 years, and then I, did a bit of stand-up, and then I went back to Sydney to work as an actor, and again, by actor I mean barista, and the only roles that I was getting were like busty prostitute, prostitute 3, other prostitute, and I guess I'm not saying like these are dramatic roles. I wasn't like an actual prostitute because I just lay there. But so I guess for me, I come from a theatre background. I did stand up and improv, and on the air you obviously get that, but you're working in a team and it's commercialised, so I can't swear on the air, or I maybe can't go into in-depth things on the air. I can't focus on one thing that maybe I think is interesting on the air. So I was like, how can I utilise my theatre background, my comedy background, just in a way that I wanted to personally curate. And so that's why I started using YouTube and Facebook. And I actually started my Facebook page in 2013. And a lot of people think, oh, you just happened really, really quickly. I was like, well, not really. Like, I've had it for a really, really long time, and it just really took a really long time to get off the ground, which I think is the case with most YouTubers, right? Yeah.
That's actually quite interesting sort of question. So Armando, I'll ask you to tag on to your answer how long you've been doing YouTube as well, and then we can swing back.
Okay, yeah, sure. So it's pretty, I guess my story's a bit funny because, I mean, I'm studying medicine now, but I didn't actually do any science at all at high school. I did really arts and languages, I was really into that. And then, I don't know, it's just life, you know, followed, and then I decided to do science. And I found that it was really like, I just didn't enjoy it as much, so I started drawing. I started drawing out the science, making mind maps, making all these things. And so I guess that's how it flowed. And I don't know, are you guys aware of Khan Academy, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't do like Khan Academy, I do sort of, I hand draw on like a blank piece of paper. And so I just started doing this just to help myself study. I uploaded it, and it seemed to get other people liked it, I got positive feedback, and it just went from there. And I feel very fortunate, to be honest. And so, I mean, when did I start? So it was my science degree, so, oh geez, I don't know, that was like 7 years ago? 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, it's growing slowly. Yeah.
How long have you had yours?
I think I started in 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's really interesting because, like you were saying, Tanya, one of the ideas around even smaller channels or even larger channels, really this doesn't even matter, is that they pop up overnight, or that viral content is the only, you know, content that is actually being consumed. So it's really interesting to hear that all of you have been doing it for quite a time.
Yeah, but I feel like I went from like, it did, for me, you know, so I probably had like 25,000 on, this is all on Facebook, by the way, followers, and then I did this makeup tutorial thing that sort of hit, I'm almost close to 900,000 now. So that did happen quite rapidly. But also, I have to be quite consistent. And, you know, when we talk about doing YouTube part-time, being consistent is incredibly difficult when you have a full-time job, when you have to answer to people all the time, and your time is not your own. Being consistent is I find the hardest thing, because you go, oh look, I want to put everything into my work, and I do my full-time job, but at the same time, if I let this channel go, it'll go, because we know the internet just evolves and just goes so quickly, so you've got to keep on top of it, but it's so stressful. Like, I'm constantly stressed. I'm stressed right now. I am.
So with regards to, like you were saying, how you split your time, so you have a full-time job that makes consistency really difficult. You know, what are some of the ways that you organize your time? So specifically with filming, editing, uploading, are those things that happen in one day? Are those things that you do throughout the week? And how often are you doing those things? Has that sort of mechanism changed? Have you, you know, finalized it, or are you still doing it the same way as when you started?
I start all right. So with me, I feel pretty lucky that the stuff I'm uploading relates to what I'm studying, and so that makes things a lot easier. I mean, in relation to, do I have a particular schedule? I actually don't have a schedule. So it just, like, if there's a topic I'm interested in and I want to study, I would draw it out, I would record it, and I mean, if anyone has an education background, I think I found that, you know, drawing, narrating, drafting, writing, I mean, I'm using all these different study methods, and I found that it really helped me. Yeah, so, wait, did I ask the question?
So how long, how many do you make a week, or how, like, what's your how often are you making?
Yeah. Oh, so yeah. I mean, I try to upload once a week, but I mean, it is getting a bit hard, especially with final year. So it's a bit, yeah. I mean now, but hopefully, I mean next year, hopefully it'll get easier. But I'm not too sure about that.
So when you do draw out an idea, as you said, do you film and then edit immediately, or do you save the editing for another day, or how do you work that?
Yeah. So I would normally draft, and then I would I would actually narrate and edit it another day. So actually, I would slot it in time, like whenever I have time. But I try to aim for one a week, because I guess, yeah, I mean, if you don't upload things, people, I guess, will just forget about it.
Yeah, I don't have like a schedule ever. I just go to work and then sleep and then try and do videos. But like for me, I think the minute that I try and go, oh, I'll upload on a Wednesday, then I've got pressure on me, then it becomes a job. Whereas I go, no, you have a job, this is your hobby. And this is like, I love making videos. Like I get so excited when I make stuff, and I like working with other people. A lot of my videos I collaborate with like a real makeup artist or a real hairdresser, and they're like, what the fuck is this bitch? Like, get out, I thought this would take 10 minutes, I've been here for 3 hours. Because I actually really like making the content. Like I find it really, like, I love improvising, which is why I like being on the radio, which is why I like being live. Like being live is the best. So like, I want to go into filming and editing, having it being fun and a hobby and something that I'm passionate about. And the minute that I go, I'm uploading on a Wednesday, then it's a fucking job. And then I'm like, oh, I've got to make that thing. That is not why I started making this stuff. I made it because I wanted an outlet and I wanted it to be fun. And I don't have any hobbies. Like I don't play sport, obviously. I'm wearing a fucking moo-moo. Like I don't like to move. I don't like to go to the gym. I don't really like to do anything. My passion and the thing that makes me the happiest is making content and being fun and being funny and engaging with other people. So I don't have a schedule and I film when it hits me. So when I made my makeup tutorial, this is a fun story. I film on my phone as well, so that also helps. So I don't have to have a camera, I don't have to have a light, like I just go, I've got an idea, bang, film. So I was out to dinner with my boyfriend and some friends, and I was like, I've got this video, the reason I use this as an example is because it has close to 350 million views. And that is insane from someone who lives in Canberra and just like doesn't wear a supportive bra. And like it's very overwhelming for me. Like you don't understand. Anyway, so I was out to dinner with my boyfriend. I said, I've got to go home. I've got this idea for this video. I reckon I've got to do like a realistic makeup tutorial. I've got to do this video. And he was like, ooh, because he gets sick of me because like when the idea strikes, I've got to go. And so I left, ran upstairs, he fell asleep on the couch, put my camera up, and filmed this video. And because I felt like, I was like, yeah, this I could be on here. And I finished editing it, and it was a Sunday night, it was 10:30, which is way past my bedtime. I was like, it's 10:30, but I love this content, I've got to get it out. So I put it out, 10:30, obviously a terrible time to post, but guess when the US is waking up? So like, I woke up to, I think, like 7 million views on this video, because I woke up at 4 a.m. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You know, and then I had like, 400,000 likes, and I was like, whoa! I actually watched that video back and think it's quite shit now. But I guess for me, that's a great example of the way that I make content. I just go, I've got to do it, I'm leaving dinner, I've got to do this, I'm going home, I'm going to film it, I'm going to edit it, bang, there you go, bye. I'm aware I talk really fast. I've had a few coffees.
Yeah, I completely agree with the whole, like, setting a schedule really does, like, dampen everything. It makes it really difficult and kind of like a chore.
Yes.
So I've roughly tried to stick to like a weekly schedule for, I don't know, a couple of years, but it's always like, it is literally dependent on your mood, dependent on if you've got ideas, dependent if you've got time, especially when I was at uni and you don't have any of those things. Absolutely no motivation, and so sticking to a weekly schedule can be like pretty difficult. And also, like, I film with a DSLR, and I try and sometimes use, like, good lighting.
Well, fancy.
Fancy yeah, so that all kind of, like, makes it a bit harder. But, I kind of don't even remember what the question was.
It's interesting because through the organic conversation, you bring up a lot of the things that I was hoping to sort of formulate into questions as well. So the natural conversation works really well. One thing I did want you to maybe touch on is, do you film and edit in the same day, or do you not find that important? You just kind of do it willy-nilly?
I feel like drained after filming a video, because it's like, yeah, it's your personality and it's the same, but it's a little bit put on. Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm a pretty, like, kind of flatline.
Yeah, you're a chiller, and you're also very attractive.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so like filming a video and being like just completely like a blank slate almost doesn't always work. So I have to kind of act like I'm a bit more chirpy than I am. So that's kind of exhausting for me. So I never film and edit in the same day. I always put it off for like a couple of days at least, and then go back and watch it and judge the fuck out of myself and upload it, see how it goes.
This is quite an interesting panel for me to moderate because I have like similarities but also differences. So I'm learning a lot from you guys, sharing your experiences. One thing that you said, Tanya, interested me, and so I'll pose it to Armando and to Brianne. Do you consider YouTube a hobby? Is that how you would describe it, or is there some other way that makes more sense to you personally?
Yeah, I guess I still see it as a hobby. Like, I don't see it as a job, so that's kind of the only two categories it can really fall into for me. It's definitely something that, like, I don't feel like I have to do it, whereas with a job, you have to do it. it's like you've got to allot this kind of time and that amount of effort, and you're accountable and you've got to answer to people, whereas with YouTube it's completely like, if I don't feel like doing it, I don't do it. So yeah, I would definitely consider it a hobby still. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I do also consider it a hobby. I mean, it's really, it's a platform to where I can upload my videos, and I mean, it's really difficult. I mean, it's either you can do it full time, or you can try to do it part time, which is a hobby. But even like, I don't know, it gets really overwhelming. Especially, I mean, this is another factor into it. I mean, maintaining all the other social media platforms and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's a hobby, and I think it will stay a hobby. Yeah.
Perfect segue into another question. So, what goal do you have for your channel? I mean, if any, it's not necessarily, required to espouse a goal, but most importantly, or most specifically, I would say, are you interested in being a full-time YouTuber, or is doing YouTube part-time, that's your gig and that's what it's going to be?
I would like my own TV show. Yeah, like I guess I use YouTube and Facebook to present content because I can't not. I hate the word content. My dad told me that content is a business word for art. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting considering my dad's a businessman. That's really strange. I guess for me it's a platform to show the world potentially what I have got. Because I mentioned I was an actor before. I was a rejected actor. I would go to casting after casting after casting, and I was told no, 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 no. Do you know how hard that is for 5 years? It's so hard. I couldn't afford to drive my car. Like, I couldn't register my car. I had no money. And I was so desperate. Like, I'd go into like an ad for a Holden ad or whatever, and I wouldn't be like, hey, I'm here for the casting. I'd be like, I fucking need this to live. And obviously that didn't result in me getting it, because I never got it unless it was busting whore. So I think for me, this platform is a way for me to go, hey, without being cast in a traditional role of TV or film, this is who I am, this is what I can do. Maybe Netflix, you'd like to put that in a series? I don't know. Like, I think, for me, I've got a different goal maybe. It's not necessarily to stay on YouTube or to stay on social, it's where can this opportunity take me? What can I do? And I'm really interested in long form. I love Broad City. I'm like frothing for that. 30 Rock is one of my favourite TV shows. I love Ricky Gervais, and all of his stuff is, and Chris Lilly, their TV shows are what I would like to create for myself. And because I am a writer, because I come from a theatre background, that's where I'm aiming. And so for me, social is a really amazing platform for me to highlight that without permission from a casting agent, without permission from a TV company. I can go, hey, this is who I am. If you like it, cool. If not, bye. That's I guess, my answer.
So for you, you see it as a potential step into possibly other territory, not so much that you'd be interested in full-time YouTube, but that you think it might open doors for something else that you might really like to do.
Yeah. But I still really, I just want to perform, I guess. Like, whether it be online, whether it be wherever it is, I just want to perform because I can't do anything else. Like, literally, I can't do anything. I can't. I have no business skills. I'm dyslexic, like shit.
Brianne, what are your thoughts on that topic?
I don't really think I'm looking to do it full-time, or like stay on YouTube or have that be like the end goal, but I would love for it to be a platform that I can always put what I'm creating online for other people to see, and like if that leads to other things, like that, again with the opening doors, like that's basically what it is for me. It's like a hobby that I really enjoy that could lead to other things and has led to a lot of different opportunities that I never would have had without YouTube.
Yeah, but you don't make it because you want to be seen by a casting agent. That's not the thing. You make it because you can't not, right? You make it because it's in you and you have to. Right.
It's an itch.
Like, comes from a different place, a passion.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so that's like why I make things, and like the things that I'm making I would probably still make anyway. Like the kind of content I'm making these days is vlogs and like through my like everyday life. So it's what I'm doing regardless, but now I'm filming it. It's just, sharing it with people. So yeah, it isn't like I have to do this and it's going to lead to this and that's where it's going. It's just, this is what it is kind of thing.
And if it does, heaven.
Yeah, when are you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think I'm going to do YouTube full-time. However, I strongly agree. I mean, if anyone's considering doing YouTube part-time or anything like that, I mean, I strongly recommend it. It's, I mean, it will, I mean, if you're passionate about something and do it, it will definitely, it's a gateway to anything. I mean, so it opened doors, it allowed me to do other things, get a job in science communication with some, in areas, you know. And I guess when I say I don't want to do it full time, I definitely want to continue it. I mean, I think I have a big passion for education and improving science and medical education. I mean, you guys probably know who've been to lectures, you know, it's 1 hour long, 2 hours long, monotone voice. So I think YouTube is a good, I guess, platform to sort of introduce this. And like Tanya's goal to have a TV show, I mean, my goal is to essentially improve education, medical, science.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah.
I wish mine was more altruistic.
No.
Yeah, well, you know, I feel like I also use my platform to talk about mental health, to talk about diversity, and to talk about body image and stuff, you know.
So a common discussion that I sometimes...
But I am an asshole, also, like, you know, let's be very clear.
Something I wanted to talk about, I mean, I heard you each touching on it just a little bit as a natural part of talking about doing YouTube. But barriers to entry into creating, and by that what I mean is like editing software and what you're using to film, whether or not you're using lighting or sound equipment, these can sometimes be things that stop people from feeling like they can or should create YouTube videos. So if you would mention just maybe what equipment that you use, and maybe if that has changed. So if you started using something and you've upgraded or even just downgraded or side graded or whatever it is, and you're doing something different now, I think the evolution of what tools you're using, it highlights something important about what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I started with a webcam on my MacBook, so that's like just,
I heard that.
yeah, classic. So everyone uses that. And now I use a DSLR, a Canon 80D. We've got like a glide cam, a drone, like different things like that that we use. And I say we because me and my friend often like work together on it. So yeah, so it's definitely kind of upgraded, but at the same time, like before I had a glide cam, I literally used a plastic bag. It makes it slightly smoother, like you put the camera in a plastic bag and it's like slightly smoother than your hair.
Wow.
So you can improvise for sure, like that is the most povo way of going about getting
Yeah,
it.
no one uses the word povo anymore.
It's a solid word.
What else no one uses anymore? Darrow. Like, no one uses Darrow. Darrow.
I don't know what either of these words
No. I use a phone and edit on my phone, and I think people find that really funny because I don't know how to. Yeah, this is what I was like. You know, I was like, I can't do anything else. Like literally, I can't figure out. This is so revealing. I can't figure out how to get videos off my phone and onto my computer, and I also don't know where iMovie is on my computer. I don't know where it is, and also, and this is like, you know, talking about doing YouTube part-time, I fly a lot, and when I fly, boom, edit time. Like, that is free time where I can be utilizing it because I can't be on email and I can't be doing anything else. I'm editing, and that for me is really great. Also, I would really like to learn how to edit and like buy an actual camera, but I just couldn't be
Both of those problems that you listed, I can help you with.
Thank you so much. For God's sake, someone help me.
But actually, I'm interested because editing on your phone, you're sort of describing it as though it's like, I don't know, remedial, but actually, I think it's really interesting. That's sort of
because I'm
specific
a
skill
YouTube
set.
convention, and I feel like, oh.
But what application are you using?
Yeah, iMovie, I think.
On your phone?
iMovie, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I feel
It is quite hard on the phone.
It's really hard. Yeah, and
It's
like,
harder. Yeah, I agree.
like, yeah, all my stuff's on here. Like, I don't know.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's
How about you,
really
Armando?
Yeah, so I mean, when I started, I mean, it's just a camera. I changed. When I started, I'd use like a crappy camera, like just a digital camera, I guess. But then I slowly, now I'm using a DSLR. But funny, I'm still using a desk, and I would create my own mount because I'm drawing, so the camera's above.
Wow.
So, you know, I have like paper boxes, I guess, and wood, and then use books to mount. Anyway, it looks dodgy.
Yeah.
It works, yeah. So, I mean, I'm still using it, and I edit on iMovie. I mean, everyone's, you know, asking me what do you edit with, like Adobe, whatever, and I'm just like, just classic iMovie.
Yeah,
It works.
it works.
It works. It's simple. Yeah. I wish I could use
Yeah.
I think it's interesting though because there's a lot of things you can do in iMovie with one click that in something like Adobe Premiere Pro you actually have to create all the things, all the individual elements yourself. It takes quite a lot more time to achieve something very simple.
Yeah.
So there's things you can do in Adobe that you can't do in iMovie, but for the things you can do in iMovie, iMovie is the clear choice in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so weird, huh?
And I think it's quite a robust
Content is key.
tool.
Like,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
great.
it matters how you make it, what you're saying, and how, like, you know, how it's created. Like, what it is more important than how it's created. You get it free with a computer? Yes. Hashtag, who doesn't like something free? Are you kidding me? Yes.
So hinging on the basis of the fact that we're here at a conference that is about YouTube, and you know you're on this panel, this is sort of a, I guess you could say like a, well, I don't know. You're saying it's a hobby, so maybe it's time that you're dedicating toward your hobby. So how do you strike a balance between your work or school, whichever it is, and your YouTube? Or can you think of a time when you had to, for example, put off uploading a video or even recording a video because you had a work commitment? Or was there a time, for example, that you missed class or missed, you called off of a shift for a YouTube sort of time thing? And so how do you find the balance there?
Yeah, so like I've skipped classes of uni to make videos, and in the same regard I've put off making videos to go to classes. Like it is about prioritizing and kind of just judging the situation as it's happening. But yeah, time management is definitely a huge issue if you're doing like uni part-time or working part-time, full-time. And trying to make YouTube videos at the same time, because it is time consuming, like depending on what you're doing, it can be pretty time consuming. So it's something that I struggled with all through uni, and it's something I still very much struggle with. And it's just kind of like, oh, well, if I've got time to do it, then I do it. And if not, then, you've got to kind of work on your life and your job and all of those kinds of things. And that is a priority, unfortunately.
I don't do Facebook videos or YouTube videos when I'm at work. So between 4 a.m. and 2, or whenever I'm at work, like in the radio station, I don't. Actually, sometimes. If it strikes me, this is what I'm saying, if it comes to me, because I was a real bitch this one day because I had my period, and I was like, oh, that's a really funny video. And I was like, I'll quickly do this, but I edited it later, but I filmed it really, really quickly. How's me trying to, is my boss in the room? Because I feel like not really, I'm always using my time. Yeah, like my rule is if I'm at work, and I'm being paid by Southern Cross Stereo, and they should have all of it. And so I'm going to give them all of it, because I'm super passionate about radio, so I love radio. It's my home. I don't have to wear makeup, that's for me. So I guess my rule is if I'm at work, outside of that, get on the phone, film as much as you want, edit as much as you want. But in saying that, at the same time, you need to have balance. If I'm filming and doing radio all the time, I'll crash and burn, because I give everything, like your heart and soul's on the line, and if you keep constantly giving out and not giving anything back to yourself, like for me, that's where I find the balance question. Actually, as you mentioned before, like sometimes I've just got to just sit and not even watch TV, because when I watch TV, I get inspired. I'm like, don't watch that, So I have to just cut off and sometimes just sleep and just like be by myself. And I think that's the other thing, I don't like a lot of energy around me, inspires me. So I'm like, no, don't say anything, because I go, that's radio content, that's this. Like, oh, I can do a video with that. Oh, what can I do with that? Oh, if I did a vox pop on that, that would be really good, and I can turn that around and make a sketch. No, stop. That's my biggest problem. And I wish I could give you advice as to how to get around that, but I'm still stuck in it. I'm still trying to find it, like a vacant space.
So yeah, doing YouTube part-time, I guess, yeah, I just do it whenever I have time. I actually never taken time off uni to do YouTube things. However, I have taken time off to do things, so like, the opening the doors, so I got invited to speak at this one event, so I might have taken a day off from there, but not strictly to make YouTube videos or anything like that. If anything, uni has taken time off YouTube. Exams, obviously, can't make content around those times. But other than that, it's just a matter of balancing. And the good thing about, whenever I have excess time, I would make a lot more videos, and then just save it, keep it under private, and then release it every week. So that's way of, I guess, keeping it up.
So one thing I hear as sort of a trope is that time management becomes important, and I'm also hearing, like Tanya, pulling out the self-care element. I want to talk about both of those things, but I think let's start with time management. So is there any, I don't want to really clickbait it by saying like it's a time management hack, but like what's your system? How do you manage your time? So is it that you have a bullet journal? Do you use Google Calendar? Do you have a paper planner? I mean, do you just wing it? What do you try to do to organize your time to the best of your ability?
Yeah, I winged it for like years, and that never worked. And like coming into the self-care thing, like I was always anxious about it, always stressed out. I had to just like sometimes for like a whole day just sleep because I couldn't deal with the stress of everything. Yeah, it's just like breaking that stress that comes from like having so much I guess responsibility put on yourself. Yeah, but now I've got like a diary and I write down like every single day I have to get all of that what's on there done. And that's having that little tiny bit of structure has helped so much because I just had none and it was a complete mess.
And then you felt like
and I can't, I'm not one of those people who can just organise it in my brain and it's just done. Like I need to see it visually, like okay, this is exactly what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, and that's working really well for me at the moment.
I think I'm just chaotic right now. Everything's in like a calendar. Like I think that's pretty good. I wish I knew, but self-care I'm trying to get into. You mentioned that, Ash. I'm really trying to, but I find I get anxious before a massage because I'm like, that's time I could be editing. But I need to stop doing that and go, nah, you can't make good stuff unless you're in a really good space mentally. And I think for me making comedy, it's particularly hard when I'm really down. And like, just from like life, like I think everyone in this room can completely understand it. Like I'm always tired, like fuck, everything's hard, I'm so sorry, there's a child in here, I'm swearing a lot. I feel like I'm going to get a warning from VidCon, and for that I'm already sorry. But, it's just this continuum. And so, I'm trying to find a space where I can sort of get a breath so I can continue to do what I'm doing. But right now I kind of can't, so I'm just trying to push through knowing that Christmas is coming. You know what I mean? Like for me, I go goals. And the way that I use time is like, a great example is when I'm on a flight, I'll use that to edit.
Just finding those filler moments where you can plug in the things you'd like to do without taking away from your maybe daily hours. Yeah. What about you, Armando?
Yeah, I mean, time management. So I'm probably the most disorganized person I know. I don't use a calendar, I don't use anything. I literally do it when I have time. I just do content stuff when I have time. And it's a lot more difficult at uni because, you have to work around your uni schedule and things like that. So I guess
that always changes every semester.
Exactly. So, it just comes down to the point, whenever I have time, I will do the content. And I guess piece of advice maybe is, and I mentioned it earlier, so when you do have time and you just create extra content, just keep it private. So when you're busy, then you won't feel as guilty.
Yes.
You won't feel bad. So
do you guys have that guilt all the
yeah,
time?
I do guilt.
I'm enjoying this movie. I should be doing a video.
Yes. Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Making it never just enjoy your free time.
Never. I was like, I could be utilising it.
Yeah.
This is fun and relatable for us.
It's great. So I found I've just started recently turning the free time I have, I start just filming it. So I'm like, I can enjoy this free time because it's also making a video. Which is probably very unhealthy, but it's like, it works.
It's actually, for me, I actually don't have a lot of creators around me, just based on my location. And my hours, like I start at 4 a.m, I have to go to bed at 8:30, that's a good time. So like, I can't hang out with other people who do what I do. So my hack would be, try and find people who do what you do. Because whenever I hang out, people, and particularly like tonight or today, I feel like, oh, you get it, you're connected to, and it's just that like, you understand what I'm talking about. Like that guilt thing, I was like, oh, that was a little, I feel like so much better that having a community of people who create the same thing as you, just so you can vent about that,
It's interesting. I think one thing that I took from that is that your organizational style or whatever tools you're using sort of relate to your personality and your personal needs. Because one thing that I was thinking to myself as I was listening to you all is I'm quite opposed to you in the sense that I have a bullet journal and I have a different journal that I write like lists and notes in, keep notes in my phone, Google Calendar synced on all my devices. I'm like with the cloud, it's like all Evernote, like I'm the ways that it's almost too much actually. I think the organizing gets to a point where I'm maybe hindering myself.
Yes.
But also I need that.
If it works for you, then you don't debate that.
I need that for the structure, otherwise I'm useless. And so I think if you need less, you take less, but at least something, like Brianne was saying, nothing didn't quite work, but you figured out something that is helping. Whereas for me, I sort of need this whole array just so I can be like, oh, don't worry, you're not going to forget it, it's stored in 4 places.
Yes.
So
that's interesting. The other day I put a video, like a calendar thing, because I had a Saturday free and I wrote, make Are You OK Day videos. And then Saturday came around, I was like, no, I don't want to do this. Like, and then I was like, again, now I have to do it, I don't want to do it. So I've learned, like I'm almost the opposite to you, I'm like, do not put it, don't let it come to you, let it
Don't
come
make
to
it
you.
work.
Hopefully it's before Are You OK Day. Yeah.
So taking that and maybe rolling it over, there's obviously some overlaps into self-care. Rather than maybe talking about like how you make time for it, I think it would be cool to say, what is your self-care? So what is a favorite or even a couple of favorite things that you do that you would consider self-care? Because it's a little different for everybody.
Food. I really love like just taking time out to eat nice food, and like that's it. I like to eat and I like to sleep.
Do you run or something?
I do fast metabolism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So
that's good, I'm happy for you. No, but my brain, just to let you in, I just went, that's content, I can make a video out of that. Like, it's annoying when, like, you know, like, I think that's totally content,
yeah. So
Look out for a video.
But yeah, food. I know that's mine. Or like just taking time to go to the beach or go do things that I enjoy that are away from technology and don't involve like eating's very much like okay, that's all I have to focus on. Done. I can't do free time where nothing is happening. Then I start doing that thing again. Yeah. So that's like I guess that's my version of self-care.
Try and get a massage, but I very rarely get there. I guess I don't really do much for self-care, and this is a really enlightening moment. Maybe I should probably not be talking about this publicly. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything. Yeah, like I like to get my nails did, but then like my nail lady is crazy and just tells me about her husband. So then that's content. And then I change her name on the air. Oh god, I hope my boss isn't in here. Yeah, I don't know.
That's content. I'm going to make a video, 20 ways to care for yourself. Pick one.
Yeah, I guess get my nails done, maybe get a massage every. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta find something very, very soon.
Well, I guess, doing YouTube part-time, it allows actually for a lot of time to self-care, I guess. I mean, doing something else on the side that you enjoy, that's self-care in a way. How I do it, like Brianne, I also eat a lot, so eating out's good. But also, I think hanging out with mates for me. Hanging out with mates is always good.
Do you run a lot?
I actually do 0 running.
Yeah, that's good.
Hanging out with mates and stuff. So, because you got your virtual friends, I guess you could call it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But it's really important to remember that there's physical friends. Yeah, that's right. That's fun.
No, I just feel like because of my hours, I'm really restricted to interaction. It's like I don't like this. It's a big deal for me to be with so many people.
But so you do like radio. That way self-care. That's like you. Expressing yourself. That's what you enjoy about it. In a way.
Yeah. But I think I'm on though. I'm performing. I'm on. Like I can't say anything. I have to think about everything. I'm in Canberra, so like I can't say anything politically wrong. And also I don't know anything about politics. So like just that. I find that's the hardest part of my actual job is being across political topics when it's like this is why I started making videos because you have to talk about politics when you live in like a town like Canberra, but like I don't really know. Yeah, so have to versus want to.
So when it comes to your channels, what other things, sort of separate from film, edit, upload, are you devoting your time to? So in other words, as a part-time YouTuber, you have this sort of limited amount of time for your channel because you have something else you have to do, at least one thing, but obviously we're doing probably 50 things, really. So are you running a Patreon page? Like you said, you have a Facebook page, you're keeping social channels. Are you doing audience outreach? Are you doing brand engagement? You know, what are the other things that you're committing that part of your time to?
I don't know what a Patreon is.
Patreon is a website where fans, viewers can pledge a monthly amount to contribute financially to the people in exchange for certain perks.
That sounds weird though at the same time. I'm making content. Eating donuts.
I mean, yeah, I guess I could start. I mean, so the question was, I mean, how much time do I dedicate to other things?
Well, just what other things are you choosing to use that limited time on? So do you have a Twitter account? Is it a personal one, or is it sort of related to your channel? Those kinds of things. You know, there's film edit upload.
Yeah.
What beyond that are you contributing your energy to with regard to your channel?
So, yeah, I mean, I have a Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And initially when I started YouTube, I think I only had YouTube and then Facebook. And it was really easy. It was really easy to maintain it because, you know, you don't really get that many messages or comments. But, like, after that, after it starts growing, it actually gets out of hand. So Instagram, I mean, and it's unfortunate because of the because of, you know, doing part-time and us doing other things, you can't regularly upload an Instagram photos, you can't, well for me anyway, you can't regularly upload Twitter, you can't reply to every single message, and it's really hard. And so whenever I have free time, I try to do it. I try to answer every message I get, and I sometimes reply 2 months later, so it's a bit awkward.
Do you get guilty? I feel so guilty when I do. Because I think someone's taken the time out of their day to write to me and say that they liked my video. And for someone who was rejected a lot, you know, for me, that's like, makes me want to cry almost every time I get a message because it means so much to me. And when I can't reply, I get really frustrates me.
Yeah. It's just, I meant, like, you're doing it solo as well. It does get really out of hand. So I'm still trying to work that one out.
I do it Instagram stories, Twitter, everything. Except for Patreons or whatever. Yeah, I'm shit on Twitter though. I got trolled a lot on Twitter, so I sort of like, back away, not today.
Yeah, I kind of like dedicate a fair chunk of my time to like obviously YouTube and Instagram. But like Twitter is just like any random thought, like just complete shit talking basically is all the Twitter is. I don't know if it's maintaining anything. It's just there. But yeah, like brand deals as well is another thing that I kind of have to like set aside time to facilitate and that kind of stuff. Because that's obviously quite important too. But yeah, so other than YouTube, it's mostly Instagram, like brand deals, and I don't know, you could count Twitter if you wanted to, but it's really just like whatever I'm thinking at the time.
Yeah, Twitter's a good one to like nail it or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good talking platform. Yeah.
So I want to move to questions, but I would ask each of you to consider whether you have something else, or either a wrap-up or a final thought or a piece of advice for the creators in the audience based on, you know, the theme of balancing time management, self-care, any of the things that we sort of talked about throughout the session. Obviously they'll have questions for us, but if you had a wrap-up, what would that be?
So I guess my advice would be, because if you're doing YouTube part-time, take time you have and take, you know, and if you're excited about making videos, take that excitement and create, I guess, as much as you can during the time given, and just have and upload them, make them private, so that when you are busy, just you can release it, and it's a lot. Yeah, it's good for your mental health.
It's a great one. I've never thought about doing that. My advice would be, just, if you've got a phone, then you've got a way to make content. So if you're like in the audience going, oh, I really want to do YouTube, I really want it, like, but I've got a full-time job. Well, like, I've got a full-time job and I do it and I have a really good time. So like, your life will be funner because you'll be doing it instead of thinking about doing it. So do it. You got a phone, you've got content, so make it. Also, I'd like to apologise to the mothers over there and fathers of the children. I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry that I swore so much. Please don't sue me.
Yeah, no, I'd just say the same thing. Like, if you've got, like, everyone has a means to do it. I can see like a million phones in the audience at the moment. No one doesn't have a phone, pretty much. So yeah, like rather than thinking about it, like if you're umming and ahhing about it, just kind of just incorporate things that you're doing anyway into it. Like if you want to get into vlogging, like you're living your life anyway, so just film it. Yeah. Yeah, and so that's not taking up too much more of your time. You're just pulling out a phone or pulling out a camera.
It took me so long to actually make my first video. I was so nervous. I was like, oh, it'll be so crowded, no one will like it, it'll be really, and I wish that I had have made it 3 years before I had have.
Yeah, of course.
So like, yeah, and people go, oh, but I'm nervous, people are going to judge me, I'm insecure. Like, so am I, everyone here is. Like, we're all artists. Like, yes, I'm always insecure. Like, I'm nervous every time I upload a video, but like, you're either nervous not uploading or nervous uploading. So what would you rather be? Ooh, someone make that a meme. That was arrogant.
One thing I would like to share is I sort of stumbled upon, just by accident, this concept of automation, and I don't hear about it a lot. I think it's sort of maybe in its earlier stages. I think it will become more robust as a tool in the future. But there's two websites that I know of. One is called Zapier, and the other one is called If This Then That, which is abbreviated to IFTTT. And these two websites do a function, which is they automate something you would otherwise have to do manually. So for example, there's a million things that it can do with the whole, it sort of has a business context to it too. It does a lot of work with business applications. But an example would be, you set up a recipe that says, if I post an Instagram photo, then post it to Twitter as a native Twitter photo. Or it'll be like, if I tweet, put it as a Facebook status on my Facebook page. It does it for you. So that's something to look into. Obviously, when you're doing YouTube for yourself and you're a one-man team, like Armando said, your time is your most valuable resource, in my opinion. So look into automating. Even if you're just automating a couple of small things, it really gives you back your time to be more creatively involved in your work. So that would be the tidbit that I would offer you all. And now we will have questions. Our lovely volunteers in pink, if you raise your hand, the volunteers will bring a microphone to you.
Hi, so I have a question on, have you thought about branching out and using like friends to help you out with parts that maybe you're weak at? So I'm planning on making videos, but I know I can't draw, so I'm planning to find friends who can draw to help me on that aspect. And I thought, what are your thoughts on that? Thank you.
That's a really, really good question. So I'm a one man. I do everything by myself. And I have definitely considered getting friends involved. Now, the biggest problem with that is that you cannot rely, you can't put that on your friend. They might be really enthusiastic to help you, but then all of a sudden, they might have stuff on, and you just can't rely on them. You can't be like, hey, why haven't you done this? And then you'll feel bad, and then, so my suggestion is, unless your friend is like fully committed, I don't know if that's the case, but I don't suggest getting friends like involved 100%.
Or collaborate and it be mutual, like you're both making it together and this is our channel, maybe.
Yeah. Because
their investment. You want them to be invested as you are.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've done that, and sometimes my friends just sort of do their own thing, and I'm like, oh, what was the point of that sort of thing? So yeah.
Hi, I'm an inconsistent YouTuber because I'm doing it part-time. How do you keep viewers interested in between your uploads? And also, how do you deal with if something comes up? Like at the start of this year, I had a death in the family, so I couldn't upload for a number of months. And when I came back, I obviously had lost a number of my viewers, and I have a small amount anyway. How do you deal with keeping your viewers interested when you aren't able to upload?
So I'm really sorry, girl. It's just a tough one because I just make all the time. I was in Bali, I was making content, and I told my boyfriend I would not make content, and I made so much content. Gosh, I thought I was going to be the best one of this.
Can you repeat that question one more time? It was sorry.
In between, like, how do you, like, if you've got to take like 3 months off or whatever.
All right, yeah. So that's going to happen into this year for me. So I try to have as I mentioned earlier, I try to have a lot of content packed up. So right now I have about, 15 videos or something like that waiting. So it's always good to have just a minimum, have a minimum of this many videos there, so that when you do have 3 months or 2 months off, you have that to release.
But also you should be really kind to yourself because that's unavoidable.
Yeah.
Like you can't do anything about that, and like your subs should understand that. And maybe it's been making content about that as well. If you're comfortable, that's the other thing. This is why I can't upload.
Yeah. I mean, on that, I mean, you don't have to. I mean, if you can't upload videos every week or whatnot, what I sometimes do is just upload photos or like pictures on Facebook related to my content, which is sort of I'm still interacting.
Yeah, like keep up your other platforms and stuff as well, or like maybe have a few video ideas just on hand that are really, really easy to make, like it might take just like an hour or something to like film and edit, just so you can get something up if you're able to. But if not, then I think it's like, especially with YouTubers and like depending on the style of content that you make, a lot of it's quite personal and you like viewers get to know the person. So if they take 3 months off, they're probably just going to wander over to another social media channel. So like keeping up Instagram or Twitter where it's easy, you can just post it quickly, is also better than posting nothing at all.
Hey, how you going? I'm Kim, I'm a Melbourne creator here as well. Just like everybody else in this room, probably they are dabbling in the YouTube field and want to aspire to be like you guys and everyone else on the platform. Just wondering, you have your work, your life now, and you're doing this now. What fork in the road, or what point did you guys get go, this is still worth doing, or just dropping it completely as well?
I don't know, I kind of just find it quite fulfilling. Like it is a creative outlet for me at the end of the day, and that's something that I would be doing regardless. I'm like, there's really no point in dropping this especially when you don't have to. Like you can do both. And the thing is, like, yeah, time's a really important commodity and you don't get any more of it, but you can prioritise that however you want.
I had this great thing someone said to me the other day, if you didn't have your viewers, would you still make content? And I was like, yes. So I don't know if that answers the question. Like,
yeah, but it's like
just like you have to do it. It's like for me there was no turning point really so much as I just want to make it. You probably feel the same, right?
I also think though, if you took that and you broke it down to if you are not doing it for yourself, then that could be a fork that you would run into. If you were motivating yourself based on viewership or maybe trying to attain fame or whatever the case is, and that's the only reason you're doing it, I think you would come to a fork and it would be, is this something I want to do for me or isn't it? Because if it isn't, then that's the point where maybe you drop it. And if it is, then that's the point where you decide that you're going to, do content for you.
Yeah, I agree 100% actually. I think you really have to be passionate about what you're doing. And also, I mean, it makes it a lot easier if you do it part-time, that it relates to stuff you do, during your other time as well. So yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Tasha, and my question is, how do you deal with people like in your professional work environment knowing about your YouTube? Like, do they ever have any problems with it or anything like that?
Yeah, when your boss finds out, that's a really weird day, isn't it?
Really?
Oh, just,
Someone's on YouTube!
Yeah, like the comments, it's just, you kind of sort of take it in your stride a little bit, because people will make comments. Your friends, when they find out about your channel, will make comments, and I mean, if they're not shit friends, it'll be pretty chill. But it could be a wake-up call at the same time. But I don't know, like, yeah, my boss found out about it, and like there was just jokes made and stuff like that. Nothing bad, but it's just like, that's kind of, it's the nature of it. And like, it was in like social media marketing. It wasn't exactly a weird thing to have happen, Yeah.
I find it quite weird, being that my line of work is very separate and has nothing to do with YouTube or social media or anything along those lines. I work with children. I work at a crisis shelter that kids go and live out with their families or breaking up or whatever's going on there. So when people find out, it's quite awkward to me. They say like, oh, I found your channel, I watched your videos, and I'm like, nope. You talked about a bit about performance or about just an elevated version of yourself for your content. I find it very disconcerting to be looking at someone who's witnessing the disconnect. I'm like, ooh, nope. So, good question.
Yeah, it's working.
Oh, here you are.
So hi, I have my own channel, and like the question that was said a few bits before back about how like sometimes you're away for a long time, and that happened to me like I think a few weeks ago. I was really sick for like 3 weeks, like different sicknesses that came on from doing a lot of work, and then accidentally losing my camera charger and tripod. So
It's like the universe was probably trying to be like, hey girl, slow down.
yeah, like I need to do less work. And I was like, no, I need to do it. The problem that I struggle with is the people that I have that I'm the person that wants to always kind of be the best for other people. So like, they're always asking me, like when I'm away, they ask, hey, why have you not done a video? Or hey, are you going to put on a new video this week? What's happening? And it's struggling for me to say, I can't do it this week because of this, this, and this. So like, do you have any advice for like that happens? Because I feel bad whenever I do it.
I'm crazy. I'm terrible at these ones.
I think I've been pretty consistent, so I have never run into anyone being like, oh, wow, why haven't you uploaded or anything like that. But I mean, something related to that, people, hello? Yeah, people always are like telling me, can you make this, can you make this, why don't you make this, why don't you make this, you know, this. And you can't please everyone. And at the end of the day, you know, you have to do something that you enjoy. And if people, if people enjoy it, they do. If they don't, just leave it. And then, so what I do is I just reply saying like, sorry, I don't do requests. And and then obviously a lot nicer than that, but yeah.
I think you kind of have to remember, like, you don't owe these people anything, really. Like, it's great to have people that are interested in your work and stuff like that, but you can't burn yourself out for the sake of, like, pleasing people that...
Because then you're no good to anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're not actually giving them what they want, because what they want is your genuine interest and your passion put into it, and if it's a little bit forced, then they're not actually getting that anyway, so it's not benefiting anyone.
When I make videos when I'm really, like, not feeling it, but feel like I have to, the views are so bad.
Yeah, and people know this, like, it's not...
People are like, not funny, obviously tired, like, yes. I really phoned this one.
I think the fact that you're feeling guilty demonstrates that you care a lot about what you're doing and about your audience. So that's the money shot. That's what you need to be able to continue to do it and to feel motivated to stay on top of it. So I think just give yourself a little break. And just like, you can respond and you can say, not feeling well, videos back as soon as possible, or whatever feels natural to you. But don't necessarily sort of take it home with you, so to speak. There has to be some line that you draw between personal life and what it is that you're working on with your channel. Good question. We have time for a couple more.
Hi. My arm's sore from having it raised for so long. Yeah, so I'm also a uni student, and I also have a job like editing videos for another channel. So suffice to say, I barely have any time. So I'm busy as fudge. But yeah, so I barely have time for my own like YouTube channel. But like I have a suggestion and followed by a question that I think will apply for not just you guys but everyone here. But basically, on YouTube, there's the public, unlisted, private. There's actually a fourth option called scheduling, and so like you can schedule like a date and like a time. And then like you can schedule like 4 a.m. So it's like American prime time or whatever. And because I'm a uni student and like editing videos not for myself but for someone else, on the rare days that I have a whole day to myself, I would just sit my ass down and just edit and just pump out and just edit out a whole bunch of videos. And then I'll upload them all at once. And then what I do is like I would schedule them like one video like consistently, like let's say Tuesday 4 a.m. which is like X p.m. in like Eastern Coast America. And so therefore like as they release over the weeks, I'm like your audience is is getting a consistent update of your videos. Well, and then the benefit of that is that in that like 2-month window, you have like a buffer so for you to find inspiration later on and then like make your own videos. And so then I guess my question today is, what do you think of that?
I think it's up to the individual. Like it's whatever suits.
Yeah. So I mean,
you were business video.
Yeah. So I mean, I know of that schedule thing. I don't actually use it. I just put it in private, and I'm still learning. About the times when's the best time to upload, because it also depends on like who watches it in which country, whatever. But yeah, the thing with me is I would upload depending on what I think would be good to upload that week. So it might change. Like I have all these videos, but then not necessarily. I want this next and this and this. So it's just yeah. But I think it's a great idea though, and I think I will definitely consider it with some things. Yeah.
Okay guys, just up the back here, how you going? My question's all about going from part-time to full-time. I know you've all got jobs, that's right, it's part-time in here at the moment, and you make a little bit of money off the monetisation, you can make it through
Like,
brand endorsements.
seriously, none.
Yeah.
Well, these guys are probably fine, but I'm like, oh, someone give me something free.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and you make $300-400 a month out of monetisation if you're lucky. How do you know when to go from part-time to full-time? And do you need brand endorsements or product placement or any of that kind of stuff to ramp it up?
Yeah, I mean, I do a fair bit of like sponsored posts. It's only really on Instagram. I've done them on YouTube like a handful of times, and that's been pretty helpful. But it's mostly Instagram, just because it's really easy to get really nice visuals and stuff, both for the brand and for the people following. I don't just want to have crappy like, oh, here's a product, go, you know.
Fit to me.
Yeah, and it's like really weird finding the line between like I genuinely like this brand. You're getting like so many offers too, and like it's all things that you're not even remotely interested in. So you have to find that line between like, okay, should I be like, I need to stay genuine, but also like it's great to get paid to do the things that you like doing. But yeah.
So do you mean, like, for his question, like, if you had enough sponsorships,
Yeah.
and you could obviously do more, and you could up your,
Yeah.
like, at what point would you turn full time? Like, are you, if you wanted to, could you now?
Yeah, definitely. But I don't really want to have to rely on that because like with the being genuine thing, I don't want to have to meet a quota and be like, I need to post this, and this, and then like oversaturate everything for the sake of paying rent.
You'd need a little bit of sponsor money
Yeah.
to bump up your income for you to,
Yeah, so I don't know.
And that's what,
And like I can't really speak on like transitioning to full time really because
I think
It's
that's
a
the main
nature of
thing. So the nature of the panel
Yeah.
is that none of us are full time, so it's a bit hard to speak about the transition too. But I think what you said, Brianne, is important. That for you, you know, sponsorships would be a part of it, and also you don't want it to be something where it forces your hand. So I think with timing, that's what you do.
once your actual income goes, then you're like, yes, I will promote skinny meeting
Yeah.
because I have no options.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have. So I apologize for those of you who had questions that didn't get to ask them. And I want to thank you all for coming out to this panel. Thank you especially to the panelists. Give them a round of applause. And I'll speak for myself. If you have a question that you didn't get answered and you see me milling about, please feel free to stop me and ask me. I can't promise that I have something interesting to say, but at least then, you know, you can ask your question and maybe I'll have something to say. So thank you all, and happy VidCon. Have a good rest of your day.